This movie was dumb. Like, did you seriously expect anything else? This movie was fucking dumb. Like, it's so stupid. Like, just unbelievably stupid. In order for you to enjoy it, you need to turn your brain off. Seriously. In order for you to even sit through any of it and be like, okay, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Where do you come from? What the fuck are y'all even talking about? Why are y'all talking about this? You need to turn off your brain because it just don't make sense on such a dumbass level. It don't make sense. Um, but sadly enough, Jason Momoa has been like a breath of fresh air that this franchise desperately needed. Um, I'm not sure as to what extent they're going to keep him around. Um, like whether or not he's going to stay the main bad guy. Because obviously they didn't get him. They're planning on like two more sequels, which honestly is like excessive. Like one more movie should be enough, but I guess they want to end on 12. But yeah, they like he honestly was a good villain for them because literally every other villain they've ever faced has been the exact same person. They've all been these drug dealing, gang bustling, stoic bad guys that are just like totally okay with killing people and whatnot, but just for whatever reason, Dom Toretto and his family just keep getting in their way. It's a horrible Scooby Doo esque type of villain scene. But Jason Momoa was essentially a crazy guy, and honestly, he fit the role so well because it did what it seems like Jason Momoa just likes to do for fun, which is just be this random motherfucker, like just random as hell. His nails were painted, he wears hair in goofy ways, he was all flamboyant in certain moments, and honestly, he was the highlight of the damn movie. Him and John Cena. But I'll get to that later. But yeah, he was the highlight of the movie. And again, actually seeing him on screen made the movie a hell of a lot more enjoyable. While as like much like with the previous movie with John Cena was boring as shit in the previous movie, and then at the very end, essentially just got a basically had some talk no jutsu done to him, and then he just immediately was like, "I'm with the family now," and then he was with the family, and then that was it. But but like John Cena was no different from the black dude that took the God's Eye thing. Fucking the cartel dude who had Letty. Jason Statham's brother. Like just so many different people that were all like the exact same villain over and over and over again. And it's like whatever. Hell, the dude from Too Fast Too Furious don't even remember what he looked like. And that's the best of the Fast and Furious movies. But this one was just like Jason Momoa was just someone that was like, yeah, when he appeared on screen, it was like, yeah, I like this guy. Also having it to where he was someone that was so obsessed with them that he looked into like so much detailed information about them. He knew so much about the Dom Toretto and his family that it was insane. Like even the initial setup where it was like, now was the time for him to initiate his plan. And then he just didn't care what they knew or what they were finding out. He just had them beat every step of the way. Like he just knew beat for beat like what they were going to do, what they were about, and then how to stop them. And that was fantastic. It hard to say it keeps you on your toes, but more so it was a breath of fresh air to have a villain that wasn't just more so constantly running around being like, I got a plan. And then the Torettos were doing something for some reason, like they were hired or they were asked to stop these people in their plan, and then they was like, why they keep getting in the way? And then like they had an opportunity to kill him, but then they didn't kill him, stuff like that. But then with Jason Momoa, he actually was someone that was trying to make them all suffer. So in game style, which is exactly what happens in this movie because they lose. It was just something where he was innately he had opportunities to kill them, but he did not enact it because he wanted them to suffer. And that again, it added to his character because of how in depth his planning was. It was fine, and so that was just great. That was great. Other than that, the movie is fucking stupid. It's just unbelievably so dumb. There's points where it's like, why is Letty on a motorcycle when she knows how to drive a car? and the cars are doing crazy things. It's like, why is she on a motorcycle? I don't know. They're going in. They were in Rome, and it was near the Vatican, and then a bomb goes off. A bomb that goes off in fucking Mission Impossible style, and for some reason, all the cars that are caught in the bomb's explosion get blown away, while Dom Toretto's car, no, it barely lifts off the ground because he's a driver. And then for some reason, he has an existential crisis where he's talking to Jason Statham's mom, and she just appears out of nowhere, and that just makes no fucking sense. Like she's she's British. What is she doing here, right? And I, it's just so stupid, so unbelievably stupid. Just so she can have a moment where she allows Dom to say family like 80 times, and then he hugs her for again some reason. I do not know why. Like these, oh my goodness, it was just unbelievably dumb. It was like a bad cameo, and it didn't make sense. But yeah, that was just dumb. But yeah, you just had so much stuff where it was like, because of your inability to try and get rid of Paul Walker's character, you leave too many holes open for essentially someone to do something to those characters, especially when you have people personally come out to your family. Now, I understand the symbolism behind what it is that you people are trying to do, but realistically, a bunch of moments when it came to Paul Walker's character, you guys have dropped the ball in terms of actually showing respect towards him. Naming the son, like Vin Diesel's son in the movie, Brian, was incredibly stupid. Um, it would have made so much more sense if he was called Paul. Um, it would have been very symbolic. It would have been really nice, and I just feel like that would have been something that'd be like, yeah, we still got him in the movie, Paul, but now you have him go around as Brian, but you don't have Brian being around the kid, the person who he's named after. Do you not see how that basically is a huge fucking issue? You as well constantly keep involving the sister in the situations, and yet essentially the movie where it takes place after Paul Walker's death, you constantly just have in the movies where they say we don't want Brian and her getting involved. But in the movies afterwards, you keep constantly having her get involved. So much so that in the ninth movie, you stated that you have another sibling, and that was John Cena's character. And then the sister got involved, very much so. Something that Brian would not have allowed her to do by herself, but would have came with her to do, especially considering the situation and the people. If the movies insist on themselves, then yeah, that's exactly what his character would have done. But you keep not allowing stuff like that to happen, to where it's like, yeah, your inability to do that causes for so much in terms of plot hole and like just terrible moments with characters, and it's like you easily could have just either gotten rid of his character and been like, yeah, that's it, we're not dealing with them anymore, the sister or Brian, like they're just cut out of all the crazy shit that they do from now on, and then you just leave it at that. But because of your inability to do that, you keep writing the sister back in, you keep bringing up Brian and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, either have the brother replace him or don't. Like just like pick one. For the love of God, pick one, because you just make the movie so much more stupid without that. But that's a gripe that a lot of people made about these movies, and just Vin Diesel and the writing team just inability to work any type of sense around that concept. But and then when I say him have the brother play him, like I don't mean have him do the whole um little face overlay bullshit. No, like just have the brother play his character, and like everyone would know what that is. No one would question it. It wouldn't be a big deal. It's not a problem. It would have been fine. But if you do the whole face thing, it's going to seem cheap. It's going to seem terrible, and it's just going to suck. It doesn't look right. It never looks right. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. But yeah, that's that. Uh, but you have multiple moments within this movie where, yeah, you just got Vin Diesel doing goofy superhero shit with cars. The motherfucker lifts a car with one hand while it was behind, like the hand was on the side of him. He was he was holding a gun with one hand. Was it a gun? He was holding something with the other hand, and then he lifted the car one handed by himself, and that was just unfucking believable. And then this probably would have made sense if he was The Rock's physique, but he like Vin Diesel's getting kind of pudgy, and no, it made no sense whatsoever. It didn't even make sense why he didn't use his other hand, considering the fact that there was no reason for him not to use his other hand. So even if he two hand lifted it, I would have been fine. But this motherfucker one hand lifts it, and not only begins to showcase how stupid this movie is when it comes to this shit, and just what Dom Toretto is like. This, I get these movies are just a giant stroke for Vin Diesel, but sometimes it's like, motherfucker, seriously, ugh. And I like the Riddick movies, but the Fast and the Furious movies are just so terrible. They're just so terrible. Oh my goodness. Now, you have it to where there was a part where even like Vin Diesel was fighting Jason Momoa, and that was another part of the movie that was just like, okay, that's not cool, because Jason Momoa was like just towering over Vin Diesel, and then he just was already seemed bigger and far more fit than Vin Diesel did. But it was like, oh, he was throwing him around like a rag doll. But it was like, all right, whatever. He's more of a plan kind of guy than of a physical kind of guy, and it just didn't seem right. But Jesus Christ, like I like trying to think of this movie, and it's just being like, this is unbelievably dumb. And it just had so many dumb moments that just did not go anywhere, and like nothing really made any type of cognitive sense. They just kept stringing along cameos and just having the characters just kind of walking around doing whatever. Hell, they're the most wanted people in the world at a certain point in time in the movie, and you have Ludacris, Tyrese, and the black chick that was introduced that like can't remember her name because she don't matter. Then the black chick that was introduced just walking around still wearing the exact same clothes they had on when they were gone. Oh, can't forget Han. You know, Han's Jesus revival and ass. But yeah, like all of them are walking around London, a place with more security cameras than damn near anywhere else in the world, and no one notices them, no one stops them. There's no problem with it whatsoever. They mention this, but then they don't show them do anything to essentially uh, showcase that they're adhering to doing something to protect themselves. You know, like they're walking around with their coats are up, their jackets up, they put on hats or glasses or something like that. Anything to try and confuse their identity. Nope, it's like these motherfuckers wearing the exact same goddamn clothes. So unbelievably stupid. And they're just walking around, whatever. But you also just have just an my goodness, the stunt work that was done in this movie was really abysmal. It wasn't anything that was just like that amazing. Um, like hell, honestly, that's kind of been of a low point of these movies for a while. And I was like, yeah, they're kind of known for their cars and the stunts and shit like that, but it's like a lot of what's going on now is more so just um, really terrible in the realm of like, it seems like it wants to be like Transporter 2, but it's just not there. Hell, they even do a move from like Transporter 2 in this movie where there's a bomb at the bottom of a car, and then Vin Diesel get the car to flip so he can get the bomb off of it. But yes, I what I just said is something that actually happens in this movie. But it just like the scenes themselves just doesn't hit. Like there's just so much of so many characters trying to be pessimistic about their own what they're trying to do, and then you need someone else to give them a pep talk to boost them up. But at the same time, there's no reason for any of that to happen because these characters have been in situations like this before. So these pep talks make no sense because why would they feel down about what it is that's going on? It, it's dumb. Hell, there's a fist fight between Ludacris and Tyrese where Ludacris wins. Ludacris is a tiny person. Like he's not being Tyrese. Whatever. But my goodness, and then he blew dust in the air. I didn't understand what that meant. Someone has to explain to me what the hell that meant or what that was for, but that didn't make any sense to me. Um, but yeah, like the stunt work for these movies have basically gone very much so very downhill. Um, him riding the car down the dam and everything like that is like, yeah, I see the spectacle of it, but it's just not it ain't good, And it was like in the last movie they did something similar when he had like the chain hit the side of the car and he was flung in the air and shit like that. And it's like it's goofy and whatnot, but it's not anything that's like, oh shit, this is a pretty cool and decent stunt. It's just more so comical at this point, and it's honestly not anything worthy of the level of stupid that these movies have basically put themselves in. But yeah, like when it comes to the spectacles, they've honestly, it was like, yeah, clearly they're out of ideas with shit, but it's like, this is one of those things that's being heavily influenced by it, is the stunt work. And honestly, I wish they would do better. I hope that they would do better with it. But yeah, it was like for like the upcoming finales, and it's like, I would rather the stunt work look as if like, yeah, like that's actually, that was pretty cool, rather than that was just fucking stupid. But these movies themselves are really fucking stupid rather than being pretty cool. Uh, oh, almost forgot. John Cena. John Cena was amazing. He, much like Jason Momoa, was a breath of fresh air. Being a fun-loving uncle was hilarious, and honestly, it fit him so well. He has been showing in recent his recent little acting gigs that he has a good range when it comes to doing comedy and action. And honestly, this was one of those things that actually highlighted that. Um, Much like to him playing Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad movie, not the show, but in the movie. Um, like yeah, it was like his range of doing him being able to do deadpan in that and just go beat for beat in terms of the comedy, fantastic. And in this, him being like a person who essentially is like, yeah, I'm on the same skill level of fucking Vin Diesel, essentially, and but I feel like I'm in his shadow because I'm a younger brother, whatever. But at the same token, he's just kind of having fun with the character rather than taking shit too seriously or just being put in a situation of making you downright dumb. Yeah, fantastic. It's essentially what they did with Tyrese. Tyrese, they made dumb, even though his character literally should be on the same skill as Vin Diesel. While as with um, John Cena, John Cena's character is like, yeah, I got that skill level, but I'm gonna just be me, and like I'm gonna have fun with the character rather than the character be made fun of. If you can understand the difference, much like Han, Han is like too cool for school, but that's his character, so that's fine. But at the same token, you get an issue with it when like even when in the movie they had him approach fucking Jason Statham, who thinks that he's come back for revenge, and this motherfucker reaching his coat to grab one of his little baggies of snacks so we can sit there and chew on it piece by piece. But it's like you're reaching into your coat pocket, and Jason Statham thinks you're here to kill him. What logic and reasoning would say that that would make any sense? Hell, I would have shot you if I would have seen some shit like that. Like, come on, you dumb motherfucker. But then again, Han's a dumb character. Yeah, I said it. Han's a dumb character. But yeah, back to John Cena. John Cena was just fantastic. He was the uncle having fun with the nephew, going around saying random shit, doing random shit, and then it's like because he knows the nephew, it um it just went so well with the fact that it's like him being able to just go into this role where it's like, hey, this kid is kind of defiant. Well, not defiant, but this kid is kind of questioning his methods. Why is he doing this? Where's my dad? What's going on? Are they okay? And it's like, hey, I'm just trying to keep you safe. I'm taking you to like where we're supposed to meet up with him, and like everything's gonna be fine. And it was just a nice little thing. It is like honestly, I wish someone would do a movie with him like that because it just that in itself could have been its own movie. And honestly, it was enjoyable enough to watch and keep you entertained. So much like seeing the scenes with Jason Momoa, seeing the scenes with John Cena were also something that was like, yeah, this is actually good, which is surprising because the rest of this movie is a crock of horseshit. Um, and I guess the only other good point I could actually say was Tyrese's character when it came towards the money situation, because Jason Momoa hacks them and takes all their money, which is hilarious. Because then Ludacris and everyone starts freaking out, and then Tyrese just looking calm as shit, and he's like, and then there was like, "You've been holding out on us," and he was like, "What do you think this is?" And for a second, for a split second, I thought they were going to go back and understand that hey, Tyrese was a criminal. He was someone that was on Brian's level when it came to knowing things about cars, as well as being on Brian's level when it came to racing. He grew up boosting cars, and then at some point, Brian became an FBI agent and he got arrested. And so, once upon him getting involved into the family and everything like that, he's always been made the joke. He's always been made the butt of every joke and whatnot. And that's how the movies have been constantly keep perceiving him. But he is someone that essentially grew up street smart. So because of that, him having a backup plan while you got the smart techies, Ludicrous imaginary ass being a techie now, and then the black chick, was fantastic. It was something that was pretty cool. But what they did with it was immediately take that notion of him kind of having a one up on them and essentially just making it another butt of the joke. But for a split fraction of a second, they almost gave respect to this man's name. And you had it to where he essentially was like, yeah, we're doing crazy shit. And at any point in time, something bad could happen. I got money on me just in case. I got other places where I keep my money. I don't keep it with everybody else so it can get hacked or taken or anything like that. And then because of that, they actually came out of the clinch. But they made it more of a joke than anything else. But the only thing that actually was hilarious from the follow up of the joke was him. He was loaning out the money, and then he said, "I'm gonna need receipts because they're gonna pay him back because this is his money." But that was it. All I did was talk about the highlights of this movie because there's no point talking about all the low dumb shit because it's a Fast and Furious movie. There's so much dumb shit. These movies have never been good. The Too Fast Too Furious is the best of all the movies, and honestly, it too is fucking dumb, but it's the best. So take that what you will in terms of my overall assessment. But uh, I would recommend going to see this movie. This isn't a movie that I would buy. Hell, the series is not a movie I would buy. None of them. But this is a movie that I would highly recommend, simply because of the fact that, like I said, Jason Momoa is a breath of fresh air. John Cena plays a cool role, and there's nothing really innately like just overall slow with the movie. Ha, Fast X, it's not slow. There's nothing really just bogging you down with just unbelievably, like why are they padding this bullshit on? Much like they did with the Knife movie, where they just had the typical Fast and Furious villainish bullshit going on. It was just really, really, really dumb. Charlie Thornton getting away at the end. Yeah, she's their Thanos. At the end of the day, she's going to be the main bad guy. She did kill Vin Diesel's baby mama. Come on now. But yeah, yeah, I would like, if you're a fan of this series and you actually enjoy looking at them or you care for big budget blockbusters or action movies and things like that, this movie is actually fairly decent. Like I said, well, it's fairly decent in that regard. There's nothing wrong with liking that. You just turn off your brain and enjoy, and there you go. But rather than what the previous movie did, which was kind of just, really be this stagnant, stale, formulaic movie, this one was a breath of fresh air. Like I said, by having Jason Momoa be the type of villain that he was, it became very much a breath of fresh air. So I would recommend if you are someone who actually gets behind these types of movies, then yeah, that's something that you would easily go watch and enjoy and it'd be fine. But uh, aside from that, it's just yeah, it's not something that I would buy, but it is something that I would like. I would say, hey, yeah, there's nothing wrong with going to go see it. And like, but trust me, you're going to see some dumb shit. It's a Fast and Furious movie. You're going to see a lot of dumb shit. But yeah, Letty and I forget what the hell Charlie Thornton's character's name is supposed to be, but they were in the middle of escaping, and then just out of nowhere, she was like, "Yeah, we can like 4 minutes will be enough time to fight for no reason." It's like you need to get that aggression out. Seriously, like if you're not gonna kill her, what the fuck? Like this serves no purpose. But stupid, so stupid. Just, I could rant and rave about how fucking dumb those movies are, how dumb that movie is. But again, it doesn't mean that it's not worth watching. Um, if anything, I would say this movie is on the same level of a low tier Mission Impossible movie. And if you've seen any other Mission Impossible movies, then you would know that that's actually a good thing as far as the Fast and Furious franchise is concerned. So I'll leave it at that. But I'm ended here. This has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Danny the Flame. As always, good people. Hope you have fun. Hey, real quick, make sure you check any of the links down below if you want to see any of their stuff that I'm involved with. This includes more episodes of my podcast, as well as a comic book that I'm working on with my buddies over at These Guys. But as always, this has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Daniel the Flame, and as always, good people, I hope you had fun.